Back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Joel Przgodski, the head football coach at Adrian. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Case.
All right. So we'll back at it again for I don't know, what is this, year 3, 4?
It's year three as a head coach down in Adrian.
Okay. So after a pretty good season last year, a lot of big successes, probably one of the most successful seasons since in a long time that this school has seen, beat Tecumseh for the first time since 2011. But of course, after building so much, and now the page turns to 2024. But just kind of recap 2023, and then kind of preview what is expected with how the summer went for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, 2023 was a successful season for us. I mean, we had some lofty goals, and we accomplished a good handful of them, and unfortunately fell short on a few, which kind of irritates you a little bit heading into the off season. But it also, I think, helps focus your off season a little bit. We were able to win 4 out of 5 games at home, and we were a little bit bummed that we didn't get that 5th win because we want to win all of our games at Maple Stadium. I think any head coach would say that about protecting their home turf. As you mentioned, we were able to beat Tecumseh for the first time in a long time, which kind of felt good to get those guys that kind of feeling of success against a rival. And, I know Coach Dolson probably felt the same way that I felt a year ago, like they're doing everything to kind of get back at it. And, we finished second in the SEC White, ran up against a tough Chelsea squad who finished 8-1. Then they ended up losing to the same team in the playoffs that we lost to in the first round. So, we felt good about where we were at. We still think we left a couple wins out there on the field, which is, again, irritating and kind of bums you out, makes you stay up a little bit later than you should thinking about it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it helps kind of drive your off-season program, knowing that, you were close in some of those games and 1 or 2 plays the other way. Maybe we're sitting at 8-1 instead of 6-3, and we're a 1 seed. But at the end of the day, that didn't happen, and that's got to drive our kids to work that much harder this offseason. And we've had a tremendous summer program heading in to a week and a half from now when we really get to get at it.
Yeah, of course. August 12th is the big day everybody has circled on their calendar, and probably the next one would be August 29th, the first game of the year. We'll get to that in a minute, but let's talk about some of the guys that are going to be returning and some of the names to watch for on this team. We'll start with just kind of go through the offense and then go through the defense.
Sure. We graduated a lot. We graduated all 5 linemen from our last season. So it's not like I say we have these kids returning. We have a handful of guys we really like up front. A Yandel Hernandez has looked good at center. Riley Grayer will start more than likely at tackle for us, as will Romeo Regalado. We also bring back, an all-state tight end H-back player in Thomas Dayharsh, who's, a phenomenal athlete. It feels like I've been coaching him for 8 years, even though this will only be year 3. I've known him since middle school. And we bring back Isaiah Fox, too, on the outside at receiver. And he's a dangerous kickoff returner. He's taken a couple back to the house the last 2 seasons. And our offense is going to go through Chase Henline. He's going to be a 3rd-year starting tailback for us. We can line him up in the slot. He's kind of a matchup nightmare for kids, and he's put on about 5 or 10 pounds of muscle. And he's kind of taken over ownership of this football team. And I think our team will go as far as we can, ride his back to go for that matter. And then we'll see what happens at quarterback. We got 2 kids fighting it out right now. Senior Carson DeKaiser, who started at wide receiver for us for the last 2 years. And then Adam Parker, who will be a junior, who was kind of our JV quarterback last year. Very similar quarterbacks, not a lot of experience with regards to playing quarterback position on varsity on Friday nights, but they've both played quarterback in the past and have, had limited experiences within our offense. Carson more at receiver than quarterback. So kind of excited to see whoever wins that battle. And quite frankly, whoever loses the battle is probably going to move back to wide receiver, and we'll still be just as dynamic as an offense. So excited about that. Defensively, we return a good amount of our playmakers. We have a Sidney Tyndall, who is honorable mention as an all-conference defensive end. Julius Robichaud is going to move to defensive end from linebacker, and he'll be a junior. Very excited to see what he kind of turns into over the course of the year. Very raw, but just extremely coachable. Yes, sir, no, sir type player. Very good baseball player, too. And then I like Antonio Lewis and Lamont McKinney have looked good on the defensive line as well. 2 younger guys. They'll both be juniors, but they were with us for the most part last year as sophomores. So excited to see their continued development. Linebackers, we're going to kind of have a 3-headed monster playing 2 of them. Christian Alvaro Faust and John Breckel Contreras are both playing inside backer as juniors. They're phenomenal summers. Their weight room numbers have skyrocketed. Very excited about their progress. And we returned Kobe Oliveira, has played inside linebacker for us last fall. So excited to have a little bit of experience kind of up the middle. And then we return a couple all-conference defensive players in the back end. Antonio Brown is a 2-year all-conference player at outside linebacker. He's going to play like more of a down safety, but very similar to what he was playing last year. And Thomas Dayharsh will also play that down safety spot to the weak side from our offensive side. And then Carson DeKaiser is returning at free safety. And sophomore Cooper Howard's pushing for some time, too, at free safety, which is good to see. I always like seeing some of those youth guys get a little bit of push. And corner Zach Hassan's got one of them locked down. He started for us last year as a sophomore. He's also our kicker. He's put on some muscle mass. He's gotten faster. He's more confident. He's being more vocal as a junior, which you like to see. And very excited at this season he's going to have. And Jay Sean Rembert has stepped up. He'll be a senior for us in the fall, and didn't play a whole lot in the secondary last year. Played a little bit of slot receiver for our offense last fall, but really kind of definitely in the mix to win that other starting corner job. And we have a few other kids, but those are the ones who are really standing out to us right now.
Okay. Okay. So I know we've talked about the kids. Now let's talk about the upcoming schedule for this program. Of course, starting it off August 29th at Ann Arbor Pioneer. September 6th, home against Three Rivers. September 13th, home against Ypsi Community. September 20th at Tecumseh. September 27th, home against Chelsea. October 4th at Jackson. Yeah, I think so. Hey, help me out here. What's this? It's got like, oh yeah, never mind. October 4th at Jackson. I'm going off the MHSA site. There's like 2 dates.
Yeah, you're good.
October 11th at Pinckney, October 18th at Fowlerville, and finishing out the regular season, October 25th, home against Flint Kearsley. All right. Pretty good schedule. The same exact one as last year, just the dates are flipped. So to kind of take us through what you think about it.
Yeah, very excited. It's a challenging schedule. We try really hard, our athletic director, Chad O'Brien, and myself, when we're kind of looking for filling our non-conference, our open dates. We always look to, hopefully find competitive games where we're the smaller school. We're a Division IV school. We want to play up as much as we can, just for playoff point purposes. If we can steal a couple games here or there, get a couple more points, maybe we get a home game, or we can sneak into the playoffs like we did 2 years ago. So, we're all about playing Ann Arbor Pioneer. It was a great game last year. Came down to the wire at our place. We're expecting the same thing at their place. It's just a little bit tougher to go on the road for week 1, but excited at the challenge, playing a school that's twice your size. Three Rivers is coming to us. I'm happy about that. That road trip was a lot longer than I thought it would be last year. I mean, golly, it was every bit of 2.5, 3 hours. It felt like via bus. It's like, golly, are we there yet? And not sure what they're going to be yet. We had success against them last year, but they got a new coach. I believe he was hired from within, but I don't know much about him. So I guess we'll have to kind of wait till we get some scout film on them to really see what's going on. But I believe he was an offensive coordinator, though, so I don't see their offense changing much. Maybe their defense will change a lot. I don't know. I guess that's whatever he feels he's got to do. And then obviously you get into our conference schedule. It's everyone outside of Chelsea is returning their majority of their staff. So there really won't be much change with the exception of Chelsea. I think they're going to be the wild card, and they probably have the most talent. So that's the one who they probably have the bullseye on their back more than anybody else in our conference, and rightfully so. Get through the conference schedule. We have to go to Fowlerville. That'll be a tough matchup. They return a lot of ball players, and they were probably the most physical team we saw all year outside of Haslett in the playoffs. I mean, they got after you each and every play. And I think they physically just kind of took it to us and wore us down. We ended up losing a close ball game by 7 to them last year. And then we finished with Flint Kearsley. They got a new coach this year. This is like back-to-back years that they've had a new staff. And not really sure. They're kind of another wild card on our schedule. I'm not really sure what we're going to get out of them. I know they had good side. They were faster than all get up last year. They're one of the faster teams we saw. So that kind of took us by surprise a little bit. They didn't look as fast on film. But we're excited. I love our schedule. I wish there were a couple more home games in there. I know a 3-game kind of road trip is kind of in the middle end of the season. That's going to be tough. But again, we're excited at the challenge, and looking forward to a good campaign for us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you look at, where the division is at, of course, home against Ypsi, and then the big game against and traveling to Tecumseh. And then of course you look at, with Chelsea, Jackson, and Pinckney, what's the outlook for the league this year?
I think it's going to be a very competitive league. It's well coached. It really is. I mean, you have to bring your A game each and every week. There's not a game where you can just show up and say, "Yep, we're going to roll these guys, no questions asked." You know, even if a team's struggling a little bit with their record, the kids are still going to play hard and they're going to be well coached. You know, I just think of Ypsilanti the last couple of years. Yeah, their record hasn't been shining by any means, but golly, their kids play hard and they get after it and they're well coached. They have good schemes, and you just gotta keep getting after your kids and prep them as best you can, and hopefully you score a couple more points than they do. So we're excited at our league schedule. It's broken up nice. It would be nice if we didn't have to go, to come see Chelsea Jackson, in a 3-game span. That's going to be a little bit of a challenge for us. But again, we're excited at it. We dealt with it last year, and we're just kind of ready to get back at it, and hopefully, get over that hump for a SEC White championship.
All right. What's the next few weeks going to look like before we head to the 12th? I should mention that today is August 1st and that at time of recording.
Yeah. So, we're in the official down week right now, even though for our calendar purposes, it didn't start till next week, but we're just lifting and conditioning, nothing too crazy. We have a lot of guys who are going on vacation, staff included. So nothing we're doing is mandatory by any means for the rest of this week and even moving into next week. But the weight room will be open at 8 o'clock. They'll be done by 10. If they want to stay a little bit longer, great. If they want to go on vacation, that's great too. I mean, there'll be days where I don't even go in. I just want the kids to enjoy being kids, but come August 12th and we start rolling, that's a little bit of a different animal. So we're going to enjoy the next 10 days or whatever the math is. But come August 12th, that's at least in my mind when summer kind of ends for us.
All right. Well, Joe, thanks so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck to the Maples this coming season.
All right. I appreciate it, Casey. Thank you for having me on.